Welcome to the Tyler Werner Show, discussing all the latest in Philadelphia sports.
And it is another wintry Wednesday here on the Tyler Werner Show on the second day of spring.
What the hell?
I know, this is like unprecedented. Here in the month of March, two of the last three editions of the Tyler Werner Show happen to be wintry Wednesdays, and I'm ready for the actual spring weather to start making its way through the Delaware Valley here. But nevertheless, a good day to talk sports on the Tyler Werner Show as the Sixers have turned it on, won 4 straight. Flyers captured 5 points in the last 3 games as they make a push for the playoffs. Not too much going on the Eagles front after last week's bonanza week in free agency. Although I do want to get into this article from ESPN that came out revealing their top 20 most dominant athletes in the last 20 years. We'll discuss on this wintry Wednesday edition of the Tyler Werner Show, for better or worse.
And now, here's Tyler Werner.
And yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wintry Wednesday Part 2.
Come on, that's terrible!
In the month of March here on the Tyler Werner Show. I don't know what to think anymore. I mean, wasn't it around this time last month, in February, mind you, a little more in the prime of winter still, where we had 80-degree temperatures around here in the Delaware Valley? Wasn't that the case? Not too long ago at all? I don't know. Nevertheless, spring officially has arrived according to the calendars. And I mean, mind you, I like to consider just March 1st the beginning of spring to me. I mean, March to May to me are the spring months essentially. But it's not so much the case in March of this year. We last year we had that big snowstorm. It was around March 12th, I believe. Here we go. This is hopefully the last hurrah of winter weather. I mean, I know this might be oddball here, but this actually gave me a nice day off to do things like a couple of weeks ago when we had that. We were supposed to have more rain on the roads than we did, but this storm was a little more. It laid on the roads for sure. And quantity-wise, I mean, it's out there still snowing. Quantity-wise, I think we got about a foot or so. But so here we are. Easter is just around the corner, and at this rate, if things don't change, we could. Who knows? We might have a nor'easter during Easter, for that matter. That seems to be the new buzz term as of the last month or whatever, nor'easter, whatever. That's a new one. But and yeah, Easter is just about a week and a half away, and we're still having this wintry weather. I remember last year Easter, it was a little bit more later in April, but I remember it was like a beautiful 80-degree day, and we got the Masters golf just around the corner. We got Phillies baseball regular season opening up next week. Again, the Flyers push for the playoffs. The Sixers push for the playoffs, maybe getting that 3rd seed. We're talking about that stuff, but we're still kind of in this midst of winter, in a sense. And although temperatures are supposed to warm up a little bit next week, it looks like, when we get back into the 50s a little more, we've just been, windy weather, snowy weather, especially today, and yesterday for that matter. So here we are. Good. Nevertheless, a good day to talk Philadelphia sports and sports in general, because again, the Sixers, 4 in a row, and just the other week ago, when they lose a few games in a row, or even sometimes when they just lose one game, when they blow a late game lead or whatever. It's like, fire Brett Brown. Well, Sixers have won 4 in a row. Now where's the praise for Brett Brown? See, doesn't the door swing both ways here? I don't know.
I agree.
But there shouldn't be any reason as to shouldn't be any kind of talk whatsoever about firing Brett Brown anyways, when the Sixers team to me is right on track. And not to mention they're tied with the Wizards right now at 40-30 on the season. They're a half game behind the Pacers, who are in fourth, and the Cavaliers, they're just a game and a half behind the Cavaliers. So, there's still, there's just 12 games to go for the 76ers here in the regular season. They easily handled the Memphis Grizzlies. I mean, they cut back Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons' game time for obvious reasons, because really they can... This Memphis Grizzlies team is, towards the bottom of the West. So the Sixers getting an easy win last night. Today. My bad. And tomorrow they're right back in action against the Orlando Magic. So the Sixers, they're really turning it on the last 4 games, though. And again, You can't. Ben Simmons, he's been lighting it up, even though he hasn't been scoring a whole lot. And I guess there's rumblings that maybe Markelle Fultz is getting his shot back. And again, if it's me, I mean, I say why not play the guy? But knowing the Sixers organization, you're gonna have to wait till next season. That's the bottom line. But nevertheless, a great week for the Sixers here, getting 4 in a row, and you got to be happy with that.
It was a smorgasbord.
Yeah, wasn't it? Things looking up for the Sixers. It's going to be interesting to see coming down the stretch here where the Sixers end up seed-wise, because, again, they're right there in the thick of things. And I continue to not understand the rumblings I hear when people, and it all stems from just dislike of LeBron James, which I can't understand. Whereas, a guy, an athlete like Tiger Woods, who has done much worse things on the side and whatnot, in a gentleman's game, on and off the greens. I mean, I don't understand, but LeBron James being here on this Sixers team with a chance, a great chance, to perhaps win the NBA title next year or within 2 years. I mean, the guy's still playing at a high level. He put up, 40 the other night? En route to another career triple-double. I mean, come on. I mean, where was this whole like when the Sixers were building, before they had a chance to really draw a premier free agent, let alone LeBron James, into possibly coming to this organization? I mean, where was this whole thing then? Now it's like the Sixers, they have a chance to leap to that next level with LeBron James perhaps, and people want to back off on that? They think that would taint a championship? Come on. The whole thing, we got to beat LeBron James, not get him here. I don't buy it. And again, I think it stems from the dislike of LeBron James that many people have for him. I mean, it doesn't, and the accusations that he's a locker room cancer or whatever. Oh yeah, that's why he's taken teams to 7 straight NBA finals and won 3 of them. Yeah, locker room cancer. He's going to interrupt the chemistry here on the Sixers team. No, come on. Let's not kid ourselves here. You want to beat LeBron? Well, at this juncture, you're not going to get through the Eastern Conference at this juncture quite yet and beat LeBron James. I mean, he's on a weak Cavaliers team, but hypothetically, what if he went to the Raptors or it's like, well, you're not getting through them. But that's just me. Sixers, nevertheless, where they are right now, again, trust the process. We're witnessing the progress, as I like to say. And I continue to say, with all the talk about firing Brett Brown, please cease.
It was a smorgasbord.
That's right. It's like a smorgasbord of snow outside the window on this wintry Wednesday edition of the Tyler Werner Show. Like it or not. Like it or not. I'm going to fire up some I haven't even had some hot chocolate in quite some time, actually. But this is just one of these days where it's like, you know what? I'm feeling some hot chocolate later tonight. Maybe with some cookies or I don't know. Whatever I decide to.
What a whoopie fire punch
like I said, we continue to move through the month of March here. Free agency again began last week. There's not too much on the Eagles front. I know defensive end Chris Long, he's kind of mulling over this restructured contract offer, which would actually up his salary from $1 million in base pay to nearly $4 million in guaranteed money, according to a source. And it would extend him through 2019. But I guess Chris Long, he's yet to accept the offer, as I guess he's deciding whether or not to continue playing at age 32. So we'll see what happens. I mean, he was productive here. Love to have him. Of course, you got Michael Bennett in the fold, and I almost said Nadam. No, Haloti Ngata, official last week. We weren't quite sure, but lock it down. Michael Bennett and Haloti Ngata on your Philadelphia Eagles defensive line rotation next year. And you can't help but be excited. Vinny Curry, of course, headed to Tampa Bay to the Buccaneers. Look, it was one of those odd man out situations. I guess we kind of saw it coming. But I think overall on defense, they are stout. They had, again, that in the linebacking core with Nigel Bradham, that was crucial. I mean, they got Timmy Jernigan still in the mix. Obviously, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham. So I mean, if anything, they're still better. Their rotation overall as well better, I would say, than last season.
Trust the process.
Things are. I'll tell you what, Howie Roseman, he's done a fine job here. LeGarrette Blount headed to the Lions. No surprises here. I guess he's. I think they said they're gonna pay him $4 million. Actually, more than what he was only on like a $1 million contract here. I think. Did Howie Roseman ink him to like a $1 million 1 year deal, and here he's gonna be making more, like quadruple over in Detroit, even though he's a year older at this point.
He wants your money.
But so it paid off though for the 1 year deal they had him here. And with Jay Ajayi and again Corey Clement in the mix, Darren Sproles I guess he's going to be back here next year, maybe in a limited role again. They still got Wendell Smallwood, Donnell Pumphrey off the practice squad, perhaps see what he's got. I mean, they're pretty well set right now at running back. So even without LeGarrette Blount, so that's really where we're at with the Eagles right now. There's not too much. Oh, Carson Wentz. I didn't even see the video, but I heard of it. If anybody saw the video of Carson Wentz throwing the football around without the knee brace, which is at this I guess 3 months or so since the recovery, and out there slinging the football around. I guess looking pretty good this early in the recovery process for the torn ACL and MCL, I guess, in his knee, and so I guess things are sort of coming along there. Well,
Gosh, it went great.
that's encouraging to see Carson Wentz throwing the football around, to know he's out there slinging the ball around. And, almost like a reminder, in a sense, like, oh, well, Foles is going to be here next year. Carson Wentz, so don't forget, I'm the star, and I'm here, and I'm throwing the football around. Just about 3 months or so after this vaunted ACL tear. Good stuff. Definitely encouraging to see. New Eagles defensive lineman Michael Bennett did speak Monday, I believe it was, about coming here to Philadelphia, and we're going to play some of that press conference. There's these theories out there that I don't know, he's like a locker room cancer and not good for the culture here. He's got off the field issues and stuff like that. And I know there was that whole arrest thing in the summer where he was kind of, I guess it was like he believed it was racially directed at him, the police, how they handled the sound of gunfire, and immediately, accused him of it, and the police were brutal with him, all because he was black and yada yada. And he's coming out with this book, I believe entitled Things That Make White Men Uncomfortable or whatever. And I heard it's kind of,
You're a disgrace to this sport.
I know before maybe you get a little carried away with that kind of title. I don't know. Supposedly I heard it's like kind of written sort of humorously in a sense. I don't know. All I know is that I have it rather good here as a white man in America. Better, that's the reality. And a situation that like he may have had to face in the summer with the police, whether with it maybe being racially, that kind of racial situation coming into play just because of his skin color. He was treated like that, and that's something that I fortunately wouldn't have to. Many of us out there don't really have to worry about. So I just think it's one of these things you just kind of gotta, like Jeffrey Lurie would say.
You got to open your heart.
Because if we don't do that, as a people, we're not going to better understand each other. So that's just how I look at it. But nevertheless, we'll take a listen into his press conference a little later because he's a big player here, big signing for the Philadelphia Eagles in this defensive line rotation that may now be if it wasn't already the most vaunted in the league, will be certainly coming into this season. So we're looking into that, and of course, want to get into it a little bit on the other side. This top 20 list from ESPN. I don't know, ESPN, they go for these buzz articles and stuff, and I don't know, more of like a hot take kind of network, I feel like, than in years past. How, top 20 most dominant athletes in the last 20 years. How Tom Brady is number 20 on this list, I can't understand it all. I really can't. That to me, that doesn't make any sense. What the hell? Yeah, see, even Nick Foles is flabbergasted by it. We'll talk about it here on the Tyler Werner Show. Stay tuned for more after this as we hit our first break here on this Wintry Wednesday edition. That I can't believe I'm saying it's a Wintry Wednesday edition, as we are now officially in spring. We'll be back with more after this.
Investigators are calling it the heist of the century. The grand robbery of Brady and Belichick's slow-cooked Italian meatballs, committed by some apparently hungry NFL officials who love their balls.
When I came in Monday morning, I was shocked to learn of the news reports about the balls and the process that happened between when they were prepared and went to the officials and went to the game.
As shocked as Belichick was of the news, perhaps Brady, the last man out of the kitchen on that Sunday night, was even more shocked to hear of the news of the theft.
I have a process that I go through. It's the same process that I always go through. When I felt them, they were perfect. I mean, I wouldn't want anyone touching those. I would zip those things up and lock them away, and that's what I thought I was doing.
As Brady and Belichick up the ante on their ball security, you'll just have to pick up a pack of their meatballs the next time you hit the grocery store and enjoy just how perfect these balls really are.
Tom's personal preferences on his ball security are something that he can talk about in much better detail than I could possibly provide.
It's no big news flash that many people, you included, eat as a way to medicate themselves. You can choose to worry about it or not. You can choose to panic about your situation or not. It's clear what you must do in order to make important changes.
5 letters here. RELAX. Relax. We're going to be okay.
In order for you ever to effectively figure out and map how to get to where you want to go, you have to first know exactly where you are starting.
RELAX. Relax.
You have to be willing to change what you're doing. You can change your behavior.
What is it about good sex that makes me have to crap? Guess it's all that pumping. Pump and dump.
Pump and dump. Never stop the pumping. Always keep her satisfied. Pump and dump.
Who really jarred something loose, Tiger?
Oh, yes, and here we are on the Tyler Werner Show, discussing all kinds of Philadelphia sports. As again, we're, coming off the heels of free agency. Last week was, of course, the opening of it, the busier time of free agency. We'll see the Eagles make any more major moves in the near future. Phillies baseball season opening up next week, regular season that is. Sixers, Flyers making pushes for the playoffs. It's great. We're going to have both of those teams in the play. Hopefully the Flyers do not blow it, but I'm confident that we're going to see both of those teams in the playoffs. Maybe not necessarily at the top of the conference, but nevertheless in the playoffs. The Flyers, they had a bit of a funk the other week ago, but as of late, they've been picking it up a little bit just in time to make a final push for the NHL playoffs. And it looks like right now they're holding steady at the 7th seed, but that could easily change. They're right there in the mix with the Blue Jackets and the Penguins, so we will definitely keep our eyes peeled for what the Flyers do in the coming days here. Now, all right, the phone's freezing up here. Had something up, and now it's all frozen up. Let's reload the internet here. You just gotta love how maybe it has something to do with the snow. I don't know. Jamming up the internet or whatever.
What is going on back there?
But I had this article up, and I was just talking about it before we went to the break, just a little bit. Top 20 dominant athletes in the last 20 years. And right off the bat, how in the hell is Tom Brady number 20? How does that make any sense?
Come on, that's terrible!
Now, Peyton Manning is number 3. And it just doesn't. I'll go through the list here from 20 down. But how? Now, yeah, you can definitely make a case that Peyton Manning is somewhere in that top 20. But Brady has already surpassed his win total. Brady, more playoff victories. Brady, 5 championships, 5 Super Bowl titles, 8 appearances. I mean, that's almost half the seasons that Tom Brady has started for the New England Patriots. I think about half the time, half those years as a starter, he's been in the Super Bowl. I mean, that's substantial. Peyton Manning, 4 Super Bowl appearances, 2 rings. And the second ring, I mean, it was it was kind of all the defense in that game, to be fair. You know, Peyton Manning was knocking on retirement's door at that point, and certainly, sure enough, retired after that Super Bowl victory. Great way to go out.
Chicken parm, you taste so good.
That's right. So that doesn't add up to me. I know Peyton Manning, he certainly has his stats, without question, more so in the regular season. But you got to be kidding me. Brady at number 20. Okay. Let's look at some of the athletes that are more dominant, according to this list, that are ahead of Tom Brady. And starting with number 19, Manny Pacquiao. I mean, really? Manny Pacquiao? Mike Trout, MLB. Okay. Baseball. Barry Bonds. I guess. Of course, steroid/PD controversy. Now, with all due respect, number 16, Allison Felix in track and field, for those who don't know who that is. In Olympic, I mean, with all due respect, supposedly ESPN has this dominance rating equation, I guess. I have to look at the rest of the article and see if maybe it explains it somewhere. But again, I
just think somebody owes us an explanation, that's all.
You can't explain to me how, if Peyton Manning is number 3, how Tom Brady is down at number 20. Because Peyton Manning's number 3, I mean, then obviously football isn't getting shorted here, in a sense, by having Peyton Manning at number 3. But if you're going to have Peyton Manning at number 3, how can you not have Brady at 2 or 1 by these standards? Doesn't add up. track and field, I guess, you have Allison Felix at number 16. Number 15, Novak Djokovic.
Who is this?
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even know who this was, to my fault to begin with, but tennis player. Among the Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, trio or whatever. 12 Grand Slam titles. Okay. Well, Roger Federer boasts 20. 14. Cristiano Ronaldo in men's soccer. I guess. Have Tom Brady.
Oh God, ease our suffering in this our moment of great despair.
That was the wrong sounder there. Lauren Jackson, WNBA player. And again, this is nothing against women or anything like that. But ahead of Tom Brady? I mean, again, the kind of dominance that Tom Brady has had in the NFL, a league which is, I mean, if anything, it's the hardest to dominate in, and in the most important position in all of sports, in the quarterback position. I'm sorry. Tom Brady, number 20. Behind Lauren Jackson. Number 12, Serena Williams. Now, look, perfectly reasonable. In her individual sport, yeah. I'm fine, completely fine with Serena being at, fairly high on this list. 11, Lionel Messi, men's soccer. I guess, but again, football is really the big, in the sport that is harder to dominate, probably the hardest to dominate, and in the most important position in all of sports. Usain Bolt, number 10, men's track and field. Number 9, Marta in women's soccer. Okay.
Who is this?
Floyd Mayweather, number 8. Now, this one, I guess, it has some people questioning it. I don't know, where people weigh lighter weight boxing. He's got his unblemished record. And just the way he just tactically beats people time and time again. Just ask Conor McGregor, for those who are... but no, seriously, I mean, yeah, you could make a case that Floyd may, number 8, I guess. Some people believe he never fought anybody, and I guess whatever. I'm not gonna. But Manny Pacquiao being higher than Tom Brady, and just being on this list, I don't buy that. Number 7, Michael Schumacher. Now come on, people, come on, ESPN. You're gonna have a Formula One racer. And look, some people, they want to call racing, they want to call more, they want to call NASCAR a sport or whatever. I don't. I mean, it's a form of competition, but come on. A Formula One racer at number 7. 13 ranks ahead of Tom Brady. Come on. Come on.
Are you kidding
Let's get
me?
real. Number 6, Annika Sorenstam. LPGA. I guess a women's golfer. Well ahead of Tom Brady. I don't know. Number 5, Roger Federer. Tennis, okay. In an individual sport like that, yeah, okay. I don't have really a problem with that. Number 4, Jimmy Johnson. Now, yeah, maybe it's like an individual sport, but it's not as much sport, not nearly as much sport as football or boxing or these other sport or tennis for that matter. Come on, you're going to seriously I don't care what your dominance rating scale is. You seriously, with a straight face, put a NASCAR racer ahead of Tom Brady. Come on.
You're a disgrace to this sport.
It's ridiculous. Number 3, of course, Peyton Manning. As I mentioned before, if Tom Brady, yeah, Peyton Manning should definitely be on this list. I don't know if he should be that high on this list. And I mean, you could even make a case Aaron Rodgers would be on this list. Now, he only has 1 ring, but look what happened to that Packers team when he's gone for most of the season. They can't even make the playoffs. They get shut out, I think 2 games in a row it was. And the guy is just, he's Aaron Rodgers. Number 2, LeBron James. Yeah. Can't help but agree with that one. Number 1. Who do you think? Who are you thinking at number 1?
Yesterday I did pull out.
Yes, Tiger Woods. The dominance rating of 17.0. Now, this, I guess. But then again, this is, if you're taking the entire last 20 years, well, Tiger Woods, yeah, it's pointing out things here like from 1999 through 2009. Woods averaged 5.8 wins per season. All right, well, how about the last, 8-9 years? Just saying. Whereas Tom Brady, from 2001 to present, see, now we're talking about 17 years. Almost all of those 20 years, Tom Brady's run of dominance. 8 Super Bowl appearances, unprecedented. 5 Super Bowl rings as quarterback, unprecedented in the NFL. Amount of playoff wins, unprecedented. Conference, appearances, unprecedented. Overall regular season wins, unprecedented. And, I think he wants to play another 5 years, Tom Brady. Not like that has anything to do with what we're talking about here, but just saying, I guess.
To me, those balls are perfect.
But Tom Brady's only number 20 on this list. I don't know. And, look, as gleeful as I am that the Eagles are Super Bowl champions, Tom Brady did throw for, 500 yards it was against the Eagles in the Super Bowl. So it's, just saying. it's a little ridiculous that Tom Brady is number 20 on this list, on ESPN's list here. And again, it just kind of, it makes me wonder, like, where's ESPN going these days? Is it like this hot take sports network? I don't know. It's just a little bit outrageous, I thought. And, of course, yeah, speaking of Tiger Woods, we got the Masters coming up in just a few weeks before we take the next break here on the Tyler Werner Show. And, again, I'm on the record saying that I don't see Tiger. I don't know how he's the favorite, but I just don't think with this back fusion surgery, I just don't see how he's going to be the same ever that he used to be during his dominant run that got him as the number one athlete on ESPN's list or whatever for the top 20 most dominant athletes in the last 20 years. But how's it? I'm just wondering who else with this kind of back fusion surgery, let alone in his 40s now, went on to win a Masters golf tournament or a major golf tournament for that matter. You know, I hate to rain on his parade or anybody's parade, but I'll believe it when I see it. How does that sound? I'll leave the possibility open, but I'm not. I don't see it. And I think golf is fine. Very enjoyable to watch. There's plenty of other great players out there. Whether Tiger Woods is playing and hanging with them or not, the beauty of the game is there whether or not Tiger Woods is. So let's move on. Let's not just make it all about one person who hasn't won a major tournament in nearly a decade. All right? Even though he is if not the greatest golfer of all time, there's plenty of great players right now in the game. So let's not make it all about just one guy. That's all I'm saying. All right. So we're coming on the other side. Going to listen to some Michael Bennett. Some of the things he had to say to the media, to the Eagles fan base. As he seems excited to be here. Play for the Super Bowl champions, your Philadelphia Eagles. More to come on the other side right after this.
Hi there, I'm Hank Hill. Well, I'd like to tell you what Strickland can do to meet your energy needs. You see, at Strickland, the customer comes first. It's kind of interesting. The word customer begins with CU. Well, we don't see you as just another sale, but as a member of our team. I thought you might enjoy 7.5 gallons of pure premium propane. Strickland Propane, the customer comes first.
Okay, Rocco, pretend I'm the girl that you want to ask out on a date.
How about maybe you and I, maybe we go out together, get something to eat, I don't know, maybe laugh a little bit, who knows, you know? I don't know, would you like to maybe, you want me to go out together? What do you think? Would you like to?
You need to make more eye contact and you sound way too nervous.
You want to hear me say it? You want to break me down? All right, I'm afraid. For the first time in my life, I'm afraid.
Having a tough time asking out ladies? You need to see Clubber Lang for a lesson.
Hey, woman. I bet you stay up late every night dreaming you had a real man, don't you? I tell you what, bring your pretty little self over to my apartment tonight, and I'll show you a real man.
Build confidence with the ladies like never before with Clubber Lang's dating services. The most highly recommended in all of the Delaware Valley.
I am ranked number one. One! That means I'm the best.
It's the Tyler Werner Show, right here on this wintry Wednesday edition And dare I say, try not to jinx us here, but perhaps the last Wintery Wednesday edition until perhaps next winter, or maybe earlier, maybe next fall. if the snow starts making its way around here early next year, as we are, I think we're knocking on spring's door, but then again, I don't know. So the weather continues to be chilly around here. I guess you'd call it unseasonably chilly or whatever. I would think, the average temperature around this time is warmer than what we had today for sure. Not like 30 degrees or whatever is bitter cold, but it just the fact that we have this snowfall here and it's not warm enough that it can't just be a bunch of rain. I don't know. But nevertheless, maybe some of you out there, maybe you had a nice day off and a nice snow day in. Didn't have to go anywhere. Maybe a day to get caught up on some things. Or, I don't know, I don't know. Maybe it's the opposite for some people, and there are things that they had to get done, and maybe this kind of day thwarts them. I don't know. What do I know? Let's turn it over to Michael Bennett. One of the latest additions to this Eagles defense, which is definitely rounding into form as they have added depth at the defensive line position with him. And the signing did spark a little bit of controversy, I guess. I don't necessarily agree with the controversy because I don't think there's too much controversy to be had here with Michael Bennett. But let's hear from the guy. Michael Bennett speaking on Monday it was about signing here with the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles.
First thing, I'd love to thank the Seahawks and the city of Seattle for giving me an opportunity to be a part of a championship run over the last couple of years and being able to be a part of a great city, great teammates. We met so many great people there, had families together, but I'm super excited about having the opportunity to play for this organization. I think Doug Peterson and everybody in this organization is just so upbeat and such a refreshing place to be when there's so many great players around you and you get an opportunity to be with a quarterback like Carson Wentz and all these guys, Alshon Jeffries, and all these great players. And just an opportunity to come here has just been a blessing. And there was a lot of talk and chatter about places I could have been, but this is a place that I wanted to be and have a chance to play in this city. This is a football city. This is a sports city, and the opportunity. They brought a championship here last year, and I want to be a part of all this. The new championships that's going to be coming from all the new players, and the chance to get to play here is just amazing.
Michael, why do you think you were traded?
I don't know. I think in an organization, there's a shelf life and a time for everybody, and there's you end up just running your course. I think there's a time when organizations want to move forward and try to play young guys, but you still got great players who are older but still can play at a high level, and you want to give value for them. So that's just a part of the business, and you respect everybody in the organization for their opinion, but you look forward to the new opportunities that are in front of you, and this is a great opportunity for me. It's not like I was traded to a bad team. This is this is the team in the NFL, the number one team, and it's an opportunity to be a part of something even greater.
Have you lobbied for your brother to come here in any way?
No, I would love for my brother to play, but no pressure on the organization to bring him in. But it's always been a dream of mine to be able to play with him and win a championship with him, and just go out there on Sundays and have the kids play together. And it almost happened before to Chicago, but it'd be great to have him here.
What's your view of the Eagles' defensive line from the outside, and what's going to be like kind of joining that talent?
Oh, not joking. You guys are going over each other. Competition on. No, it's a great defensive line. You look at all the great players. Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Chris Long, Timmy Jernigan, Derek Barnett. So many great players, and the opportunity to see those guys play and see what they do every weekend and week out. And, to have a coach like they have and to be able to focus and run the stunts and play the way that they do. And for me to come here and, be on the outside looking in, and then I was sitting watching Super Bowl and being like, man, if I was right there, I would be beating that guard right there. And then, a month later it happens, So things always happen for a reason, and this is just another great opportunity.
Mike, I think last year you played over 900 snaps, and last year no Eagles defensive lineman played more than, I think, 622. So are you comfortable with a role where you're on the field less now than you were with Seattle?
Oh, yeah, I'm comfortable with taking less plays, man. But, like I said, I came here to be an all-star just like I've been to continuously play at a Pro Bowl level. And I don't think that's no different. Just taking snaps off and being able to have a longevity career is something that every player wishes and dreams about. And I think this organization, when you think about play snaps and you think about counts and keeping guys fresh for the moments that count, because at the end of the day, it's not about September, October, and November. It's about January and February. So to be able to keep guys fresh and have those opportunities where you have guys to be able to keep rushing the quarterback as savage as we can. You got to go out there and play savage every single play. And I think having less snaps can give me the opportunity to do that.
Michael, you're one of the guys that is equally as good rushing the passer inside as well as outside. When you look at how they use their defensive linemen here and they allow that versatility to shine, does that kind of excite you when you see that from these coordinators?
I think Seattle, they did the same thing, allowed us to flourish in the best ways to put guys in the position. And I think this defense is no different. I think if you look at Jim Schwartz over the years as a defensive line coach and defensive coordinator or head coach, he's always, put the defensive line as something in a position to be great, whether it was at Detroit, Tennessee, wherever it was, he's always had the defensive lineman be the greater part of the defense when it comes to having great rushers. And I think this is no different. In this situation, it plays to my hand to be able to be around other great players and have the opportunity to play with them is just a blessing.
What was it like dealing with the plantar fasciitis last year and still playing that many snaps? And you still have to do anything with that in the off season?
You just rest, man. In the game, I see the media, you always judge you and say you're injured. But I think in the NFL, every player is injured. It's about who can play through the injuries and who can play through the tough situations, wherever their body's dealing with, whatever's happening at home, whatever happening with your body, how can you go out there and play at a high level? And for me, that's always never been a problem. No matter what I was dealing with, I always came out and played as hard as I can and always gave everything I can every single play. And I don't think that's any different in this situation. I'll go out there and give every single thing every single time.
How good do you think this defensive line can be?
I think we could be one of the greatest. I think we could have one of the greatest defensive lines to ever play the game if we approach the game like every single way. Just go out there and just keep doing what they're doing and just finding a way to just add and keep showing how many great players. And I think a great defensive line is about the rotation. It's kind of like Golden State. You want to be able to have those guys that could come in and shoot and score in every time.
Michael, the year after you guys won the Super Bowl, you got back there, and I would imagine you probably should have won the Super Bowl. Was that just a matter of how talented you guys were, or what was it in that second year when you made that second run that allowed you guys to get to that point again?
I think it's just the ability to be resilient. I think we just, in the season after you win the Super Bowl, all the pressure is on you. I think you go from being an underdog to being the top dog, and now you play against you get schemed for, and you have to be able to play at a high level regardless of, the teams are watching now. So for us, it was just about getting back to that moment and playing at a high level and just, going through the ups and downs of the seasons, because every season is like a relationship. It's always evolving, and it's how well do you gel after you have success. And I think this organization is primed for that. The first thing I talked to Doug about is that success and to be able to have that opportunity. And I think this is why I think this is a great situation for me and my family.
You spoke of that shelf life, but there was a report that Seattle was looking to have less activism in their locker room, something like that. Did you give any weight to that at all?
I don't think so. I think me and Coach Carroll's relationship goes farther than player to coach. It goes from human being to human being and man to man. And I think we've always had great relationship as far as my respect for him as a man and his respect for me as a man. So, I don't think that was ever an issue with him. I think it was just, like I said, it was more about, getting the value for the players while you can get them. And I think if you look at some of the greater teams, that sometimes they held on to people too long, the Pittsburgh Steelers and some some of the other guys when they had some of the vets. And I think so for us, they just wanted to go younger. And no disrespect to them, but greater respect for me to be able to even be mentioned and have teams, want me to come play for the organization, and to have Howie call me and express the value that he sees as me and the player and the man that I am is something that I think is very honorable.
One of the things that the Eagles players say they like about... What kind of relationship do you have with Malcolm Jenkins? Especially like working with the players.
Oh, I talk to Malcolm during the season once a week, just because we're doing so much stuff together and talking, and I know he's a man's man. He's a very honorable person, and he believes what he believes in. And for me to be a part of an organization with people like that, and team and committed from the top to the bottom, is something that I look forward to. I think me coming to Philly is not also about just winning championships on the field. It's about being a champion off the field and being able to work in the community with men and young women all across the city, and be able to give back and work in the youth jails and be able to work with young women and be able to do those things is something that I feel is important for me as a person and development as a man, and being able to be a great leader on and off the field is something that I think is important to keep continuously building the bridges from teams to the city. And I think that's something that I bring great value to outside of just being a great player.
It sounds great.
All right, so there was Michael Bennett, one of the new acquisitions here for the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand the sort of bad rap that he seems to have. I'm totally fine having him here. 1-year deal, along with Haloti Ngata, and still playing at a high level. I don't know. I don't have any problem with any of this. What say you? I think he'll be just fine here. He'll fit in just fine on this Eagles defensive line. And it's encouraging that Carson Wentz is out there throwing the football around already. And I think we're in for another interesting season for the Philadelphia Eagles. Perhaps, can the Eagles repeat? And this time with Carson Wentz at the helm. I mean, who's better than them right now? And I'm hearing the rumors, too, that the Eagles may be facing the Minnesota Vikings week 1. That could be a very interesting way to open up the season. Could it be a bit of a rivalry here in the coming seasons, with the Philadelphia Eagles near the top and the Minnesota Vikings perhaps near the top to stay, with Kirk Cousins under center? I mean, I guess, remains to be seen. But you can't help but be confident in what the Eagles are doing right now. I'm kind of in a bit of a rocking chair situation, at least me, with Philadelphia sports right now. We're coming off this Super Bowl win with the Philadelphia Eagles, and it looks like whether this year or any given year, they're going to repeat with this regime. You got the Sixers on the upswing. At least 6th seed, maybe better. There's the possibility of them bringing LeBron James here in the offseason, whether some people like it or not. I would personally love it. The Flyers are in the playoff mix as well. The Phillies, again, they got a bit more ways to go, but Jake Arrieta brought here last week a nice addition for the Philadelphia Phillies. And again, things are looking up here. It's not just with the Eagles, but you got the Sixers, you got the Flyers, maybe the Flyers a little bit. Phillies on the upswing as well. But again, Eagles. Carson Wentz, hopefully, maybe ready for week 1 of the season. And, just bring it. NFL 2018. This is great though. Ready to see the Eagles, perhaps year in year out, be competing with Carson Wentz under center, and this defense coming up next season. Probably, even better than what they had last season. So I'm stoked for that as well. So, but again, we take it 1 week at a time here on the Tyler Werner Show. We got the playoff races heating up for the Sixers and Flyers. Phillies baseball season beginning next week, regular season, and golf season starting to come back into the fold with the Masters just a couple of weeks away. Should be interesting. We're looking forward to it.
It sounds great.
And we'll talk about whatever else we can along with these things next week on the Tyler Werner Show. Stay tuned for that. Facebook.com/Tyler Werner Show. The link to check out the podcast posting if not already here on the YouTube channel. So everybody, stay safe out there in this snowy weather. Hopefully your roads get cleared sooner rather than later. That the snow melts and makes its way out of here. Hopefully this snowstorm, this nor'easter, I guess I should say, as the cliche here as of late. Hopefully it didn't put too much of a damper on your work week or just your week in general. And may the spring flowers be blooming soon. Everybody have a great and safe week, and we'll talk to you next time on the Tyler Werner Show.